Hi everyone, it's Ailin here, back again for another video. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about another case that healed completely. I'm so happy to share that with you guys. This case came to me quite a few months back. I'd say maybe like 4 to 5 months ago. It was when they started working with me back in October, and they quickly saw many changes. Like within the first few weeks, they saw drastic changes in their health. So I'm not going to reveal any names. We're going to keep things anonymous here, just out of the privacy and respect for the person. But the case that I'm talking about is of a young child, of a young girl, 5 to 6 years old. She recently just turned 6 years old, and she came to me with so many health issues. Her parents, her mom in particular, was who I conversed with during our consultations, and she was so supportive throughout her entire healing journey. It was really touching for me to see that, how understanding, patient, how loving a mother could be to support her child during her own healing journey. And they've had like quite a long journey, going through many different medical routes, many even natural routes, trying out different natural diets before they finally came to me to dig deeper into detox and finally healing her health issues. So yeah, this young girl, she came to me with things like severe allergies, allergies to things like trees, mold, pet dander, things like that. She came to me with asthma, so frequently had to use an inhaler every morning and night, especially during emergency situations. She also had extreme brain fog, mood swings. She wasn't doing very well in school, and the main issue, getting down to the main issue, was her eczema. She had eczema all over her body, but in particular her arms, her torso, and her legs, and the groin area. A lot of eczema and like little balls, like little pimples that were raised, different skin disorders. And we saw that running in the family as well, because the mother as well had issues with eczema and, different skin disorders. And so currently, right now, I'm working with her mom, but we decided to work on the daughter first, because she had more of the health issues that really needed attention right away. But now I'm working with her mom, and now you can see what was passed down genetically speaking. So it was really interesting to see that now. But within like the first few weeks, oh my God, like her health improved drastically. Her skin started to clear up. She was doing vastly better in school. Recently, her mom told me that she skipped like 3 reading levels, which is amazing. So she's like really like, her brain just lit up. And it's so funny because another health issue that this little girl suffered with was very low energy and fatigue. She couldn't really run. She didn't really have like the drive or motivation to really like run and play with the other kids. Her sister and her siblings would run around, but she had very little energy, that she couldn't even do that. And so in our last follow-up call, her mom expressed to me that she now has so much energy that she'll just randomly start doing push-ups and sit-ups. That she came into the room one day and her daughter was actually doing push-ups and sit-ups. Imagine a little 6-year-old having so much energy that she's doing that. So that just warmed my heart. That really made me so happy to hear that the diet works so well with her. But when it comes to detoxing children, you have to be smart in your approach. You can't hit it too hard, but you can't also hit it too slowly, right? They came to me having followed the medical medium protocol for quite some time, but they eventually found out that they had to give up that protocol because it just wasn't working. It healed up quite a few little things, but eventually they plateaued and they weren't seeing the true healing that they wanted to see, of her skin, of her asthma, of her energy, of her allergies, all those things. So upon examining her case, I quickly realized that she had actually, she had a few things in her diet that were keeping her back from healing and digging deeper. Things like nut butters, things like, sometimes a few little slip ups with like vegan cheese, for instance. But things like crackers, gluten-free crackers. They were avoiding the major no-nos on the list, like no soy, no gluten, things like that. But it still wasn't digging deep enough. So how I approach this case is all these different health issues, they all have a set their set weaknesses, their set gland and organ weaknesses that are corresponding. And I definitely saw that in the iris as well as the symptoms that they relate to me. So let's start with the first one, asthma. Asthma is always a neurological disorder. You know, it's coming from a weakened nervous system and weakened adrenal glands. Sometimes there's a lung weakness or a bronchial weakness in and of itself, but not necessarily. But this little girl had both. She had a major bronchus weakness as well as many nerve rings seen around her eyes, as well as an adrenal weakness. So when it comes to asthma, it's neurological because you're having trouble breathing. You know, your bronchial tubes are constricted. They need to remain dilated in order for you to breathe correctly. That's controlled by the adrenals and the nervous system responses. So, you know, your ability to take a deep breath comes from the strength of those glands and the nervous system. So we really had to address that during her protocol. You know, the signs of nerve rings around the iris, they actually denote the breakdown of the myelin sheaths, you know, the insulators of the actual nerve cells, which create those nerve impulses, which, you know, make them travel throughout the body. So we really had to address that, but addressing it with brain and nerve herbs, the brain and nerve formula was essential for her and is actually really good for kids, especially, you know, to help them develop a good brain and nervous system. That's the most important thing that's developing during this age, you know. The fruits help immensely with that too. So we had to go after that, especially her adrenal glands. I started her off, you know, like when you're first starting anyone on a detox that is brand new to using herbs, or even if they're like a child or an adult, you tend to want to start them off a little slowly, just to see what it is that they can handle, you know, especially with children. Oftentimes you have to take the approach of not giving them everything, you know, the simpler the better. Their bodies are still little, they're still growing, you know, so they definitely don't need as many herbal formulas as adults do, because adults have more wear and tear on their body, more congestion in their body as well. But the thing with this little girl is she had a very stagnant lymphatic system, extremely stagnant, and all her health issues first started really from like 4 months before they came to me. So 4 months before October, she had experienced antibiotics. So antibiotics, vaccinations, that shut down her lymphatic system, suppressed it, and so this was when she started to develop rashes and many of her health issues. So, you know, every doctor that they went to didn't have an answer for them, didn't have a clue what was going on. And you know, when I saw her eyes, it was very clear what was going on. Those with weakened nervous systems and weakened adrenal glands cannot handle things like vaccinations. You know, their body cannot handle it. The lymph system was suppressed, and then this is why the body was trying to push everything out, trying to push all the toxicity out, you know. Neurotoxins can also create issues of like asthma, you know, issues of anxiety, which this little girl had. So it's very important to detox all these neurotoxins out, because there's not a doubt in my mind that she was exposed to thimerosal, which is a mercury preservative found in a lot of medications and vaccinations, you know. That suppresses the nervous system. So that had to do with the asthma, right? Now, looking at her case, I usually recommend for asthma cases spasm calm formula, you know, to help keep the bronchial tubes, the bronchial trunks dilated. Because when you're detoxing, you're going to be coughing up a lot of mucus, a lot of phlegm, right? And you want to keep those passageways open. Otherwise, it's going to be an unpleasant time for you, and you could literally feel like you're choking on this mucus. But all this mucus congestion has to come out of the body in order for the tissue to heal. Tissue cannot heal in the presence of acidosis or in the presence of obstructions, you know. This mucus is obstructing the tissue from receiving its nutrition, its oxygenation, everything, you know. So it's very important to clear all those obstructions out of the body. Now that was when it came to asthma, but it didn't come down to it. She didn't need the spasm calm, so thankfully she had a very pleasant detox. She was, instead of coughing up all this mucus, a lot of it was coming out through her colon and through her kidneys. So that's a sign of really good detox. And I'm really proud of this little girl. I'm really proud of her because she was able to stick with her detox, and she was able to realize very early on that her diet affected the way that she felt. Now I really feel like it's really frustrating for me to see children go through so much suffering in today's world because they don't know any better. They come into this world and all they know is suffering. It really breaks my heart. They often don't really know what's going on, but this little girl had so much awareness, and you can tell that she's like, I don't know, like an advanced soul or something, because she really like took on to the diet. She was doing so many juices, and she had like a lot of self-control, and also her mom did a fantastic job too in listening to her wants and needs, knowing when to say no, like no, or knowing when to like let her daughter do her own thing. And it was just the perfect balance. It was just perfect healing all throughout. Now I'm going to discuss a few other things when it comes to allergies as well. This was what she was dealing with very severely, and she had a cough every single year that came around. Every winter, this little girl would always suffer with a severe cough. She also constantly had infections, constantly had flu-like symptoms, fevers, all those things, especially after the vaccinations and antibiotics. She was suffering so much from that. So people that suffer with things like that always have lymphatic issues, congestion all throughout the eye, all throughout the body, as well as thymus gland issues. The thymus gland produces T cells that help attack things like infections, bacteria, viral loads, all those things in the body. So she had that corresponding weakness. So we went after those weaknesses very intensely. Now, with her allergies, it was so amazing how her allergies went away that quickly. Because after I don't really remember the time frame too much, but after around the 2-month mark period, her mom told me in one of our follow-ups that they went to the grandparents' house. The grandparents have animals, and she did not suffer at all, no allergies at all, for the first time in her life. All these clearing of symptoms just goes to show how much detoxification works. Digging deep always works. So I'm going to discuss a little bit now what her diet looked like, and when it comes to children, it's something very specific, okay? And this is going to be specific for every single person too. So I made my recommendations based on what I saw in her eyes and where she was coming from, coming from a plant-based diet, a vegan diet, eating raw foods definitely, but still having cooked in there. So those cooked foods had to go away. The level of congestion in her eye was just too great. The level of gland weaknesses was just too great. And you can't dig deep enough in order to heal these areas without removing cooked foods, Now for children actually do much better when they're on all raw. There's no congestion issues, they do so much better in school, their energy levels go up. A child's body responds much more quickly than an adult's body, 9 times out of 10, and also depending on the constitution. But children's bodies, it doesn't take as much for them to see health healing results because they have less wear and tear. But at the same time, the level of genetic weaknesses is also concerning because children also have many more genetic weaknesses than adults do normally because everything was passed down to this generation. So now I'm gonna go into what her diet looked like. We focused heavily on juices, especially fresh pressed orange juice, raw organic orange juice, because she had so much congestion in her head and so much congestion, thick lymph in her sinuses that was causing her brain fog and her allergies and her mood swings and such, that oranges and especially lemon and lime juice squeezed into that was really beneficial and started draining the head area, draining the brain down to the kidneys, down to the colon to be eliminated, right? So we did that. We had to remove nut butters and things like that, because nuts, they're very acidic. They're high in protein and high in fat and don't really have any place when it comes to a detoxification protocol. However, I didn't really limit them to absolutely no fat, you know. She could still have avocados and things like coconuts, but only sometimes, you know. Sometimes when it comes to detox, you have to see how the body responds to fats, you know. So like for a lot of children, they often consume fats and then they have a lot of mucus congestion issues, a lot of sinus issues. But then when you remove the fats, all those issues clear up, right? So corresponding with that is a lot of congestion in the GI tract, the weaknesses in the GI tract, as well as the digestive organs, you know. So if the digestive organs are impaired, like the liver and the pancreas, they're both responsible for fat metabolism. We saw in her genetic family history, a lot of diabetes ran in her family. So that means she had pancreas issues, trouble digesting carbohydrates, fats, proteins, all the like. If you have trouble digesting your foods, you'll ferment your foods and create more mucus congestion and, you know, fungus issues as well. And then cravings come in and then it's like a vicious cycle, right? So for detox, in order to dig deeper, the mucus congestion, the buildup of that, the creation of that had to stop. You know, everything had to calm down. So oftentimes she had to go without things like nut butters, especially. Now, when it comes to detox, I don't recommend nuts at all to anyone because they're very acidic and mucus forming. They're high in protein and damage the colon and the kidneys, especially in an inflamed system. Now, if your body is like completely clean, have no health issues, upon looking at your eyes, you'll be able to see that. You can have some nuts sometimes, you know. It's not like never having it, right? Taking it away completely. But you have to be aware that it slows detox down. Nuts are okay for transitioning time periods, which she clearly did. Like she was transitioning for a long time, for like a year now on the plant-based diet, but now it was time to remove them to dig deeper into the next level of detoxification. So we definitely did that, and that helped a lot. She started seeing immediate skin clearing up, because then the GI tract and the digestive organs had a chance to drain of all the lymphatic waste and pick up in function, which it was doing. Okay. We also removed things like starchy juices. So like, I know a lot of people think that things like carrot juice and green juices are detoxifying, or things like the heavy metal detox smoothie, which contains spirulina, are detoxifying, but they're not as detoxifying as fruit juices are. There's no competition. There's never any competition. Once you remove those things, once you remove spirulina, which has a lot of protein content in it, then you begin to detox much faster. Protein doesn't really have a place when it comes to detox. After detox, it's good for rebuilding the body, but not during detox. You can't do both at the same time, right? As well as, you know, starchy foods, carrots. So her mom told me that she was doing things like carrot juice for her in the beginning, but that is very slow detox. Carrots don't have enough astringency to be able to move and pump the lymph system. So herein ties another thing to do with her skin issues and eczema. Upon looking at her eyes, she had a very thick skin ring, very dark, you know, had a lot of work to do, has a lot of work to do still, although she has healed her symptoms, all completely cleared, and it's been clear for quite a long time now. I think that it's been like around a month or two that's been completely clear. I've been meaning to make this video for quite a few weeks now, but you know, I have to fit in these videos anytime I can. So luckily I could remember her case a little bit, but yeah. So with eczema, skin issues, always the root cause is adrenal gland weakness and kidney weakness, which we saw in her eyes. I may make an iris video for you guys based on her case, so that you can see her iris changes, what it looked like before and after, because it's really amazing. She healed so many different things, and we saw a lot of like healing lines and things like that. But anyways, back to eczema. Eczema always stems from weak kidneys and adrenals. She had that, and that's genetic. You know, her mom has eczema issues, so it was clearly genetic that she inherited. So we had to go in there and heal the kidneys and the adrenals and get them to filter. Because those of you that are new to my channel, you can check out all the videos where I talk about kidney filtration and the articles on my website where I talk about kidney filtration. But essentially, what causes skin issues is your body is having trouble with eliminating the cellular waste that it produces, because all the trillions of cells in your body produce waste. But if the kidneys aren't filtering out these wastes, and you're not able to see sediment in your urine, then that means you're building all these acids up in the body. And then what happens is the body looks for a way to eliminate them somehow. It has to eliminate them. The burn is too severe, so everything starts to come out through the skin. Hence why you have psoriasis and eczema and all these different skin issues. Acne, pimples, cysts, it's all the same thing. It's all bunched up into the same thing, just different locations, but in a sense, the same exact cause, kidneys and adrenals. So I worked with her to strengthen up her adrenal glands as well. That's why she had anxiety. That's why she also had allergies, because allergies are also tied to, they're tied to the sinus and head congestion, but they're also tied to the adrenals, because the adrenals are responsible for producing anti-inflammatory steroids to keep the acids in the body in check, to keep inflammation down. So the adrenals were heavily focused on during her detox. And luckily, after starting the detox protocol, her kidneys started to filter within 4 days. Within 4 days, everything was clearing. And there was no time during her detox where her kidneys were not filtering. So she had consistent kidney filtration, even when she was doing a lot of juices, you know. So that was really good and very important in healing all the eczema issues. And what really makes me so happy is she was able to take on my diet recommendations to her so readily. This little girl was just ready to heal, you know. I don't know, she's like such an advanced soul. She's so sweet. I love her so much. But essentially, what we have to realize is when it comes to children, you have to listen to them, you know. She wanted to and felt really good on all juices. At that time, her body was saying, I don't want food, you know. She actually came to me. It was around the time when she had high fevers and she had, cold and flu-like symptoms. And so, you know, when we're sick, we don't really feel like putting food into our mouths, you know, because it's more for the body to process, right? So she felt better with not consuming any foods, not stimulating digestion in her body, not requiring digestive energy to be stolen from her healing, right? So she told her mom, I feel good on juices. And so her mom was like, she came to me, what should I do? Like, I'm concerned, what should I do? She needs to eat, right? I said, let her do what her body is telling her to do, you know? That's the real key to healing. So she did juices and juices and juices. And I'm not saying like children should fast, you know? I'm not saying that. But in this case, it's very wise to be able to listen to what the body wants, you know? And I knew this is what her body wanted. And this is what we see with case after case after case, especially when it comes to chronic issues. Even when it comes to children, you have to dig deep. You have to dig deep, because this family had already tried everything. They tried the all raw diet. They tried the medical medium protocol. They tried everything. This was the next thing, and you have to continue to try and find the answer, right? I knew this was gonna work, but you know, so many people out there, I know they're very protective of children, and they simply don't understand detox when it comes to children. Now, was this girl getting all the nutrition that she needed? Yes, she absolutely was. The fruits are the highest food group in nutrition. She was getting all of the antioxidants, the phytonutrients, vitamins, minerals, even essential fats are found in fruits. Enough protein, it's all there. you know? So she was getting all the nutrients. Now, if there was anything that wasn't covered in the diet that she was eating, then this is why I always recommend to children the superfood blend, particularly in her case, the superfood blend number 2, because she had a pretty big parathyroid gland weakness, you know, which would pretty much showed like depression, things like that. Let me pull up her notes over here. She had a pretty big parathyroid gland weakness in her iris. And you know, I told her mom, watch out for growing pains, because children that tend to have parathyroid gland weaknesses experience growing pains when they're growing up. So weakness in her bladder. That was the one symptom that she had of parathyroid weakness, was she couldn't really hold her bladder. She had to go to the bathroom several times all the time. So that let me know, and I even saw in her eyes when she had like prolapsing in different areas, was that she had a parathyroid gland weakness, you know. So the superfood blend number 2 with the parathyroid formula was essential to help ensure that she was building her body right, you know. She did have some detox symptoms, but actually not as much as you think. She was having a lot more unpleasant detox symptoms before she came to me than after she came to me. Because once we started going in there with the stomach and bowel formula and cleaning up her bowels, she was seeing so much mucus come out through her colon and her stools, even while being on juices. Like literally this little girl was on juices for so long. Maybe she would have like a banana here and there, maybe like, you know, little pieces of fruit, but she really wanted to stick with juices. And her mom told me, oh my God, the amount of toxicity and old stools that was coming out of her was insane. She would express like, oh my God, like her body's so tiny and she's still going, like after 17 days, she's still like pooping out these massive poops. Like where is it coming from, right? And you know, that just goes to show how the colon is so tied with the health of the entire human body. The more she cleaned out her colon, the better her skin looked, you know. So it's really amazing, guys. Now, let me see if I have anything else to cover about her case. Oh yeah, so detox tools that we did with her, I highly recommended soaking in a bath of Heal tea. You know, Heal tea is so soothing to the skin, so alkalizing. The skin just soaks it up. The subcutaneous layer of the skin is able to alkalize and then can begin to heal as acids are being pushed out of the body. So that was really fantastic, and she utilized that a lot. I recommended also things like the 3-lung tea, but you know, we didn't push it because she didn't feel like drinking tea. So I was like, okay, listen to her body, you know, don't push the teas. So she didn't do the teas. Her diet was just very rich in astringent fruits, mostly orange juice, which was fantastic at helping her relieve all that mucus. At some points she applied the healing salve as well, but that was more towards the end, just to get rid of like the last little things. And at that point the body accepted that very well because it was already very alkaline and hydrated. Now, I don't recommend treatment based healing, you know, like I'm not saying go and put like salves and your eczema is going to disappear. That's not what I'm saying, because you can apply things externally, but if you don't address it from the inside as well at the same time, you can't heal, you know. Symptoms will just temporarily go away, but you won't see real healing in the iris and in you know, the health of the entire human body, which is what you want to see all the time. So I want to read to you guys the first testimonial that she did, although she'll have to update her testimonial now. You can find all the testimonials on my website at www.spiritropicalhealing.com. I'll leave that information down below. But here's her first testimonial. When she first started out, like after just a few weeks of her detox, this is what she said. Her mom. So I reached out to Ailin initially on behalf of my 5-year-old daughter. We had struggled for 3 full years with her constantly worsening symptoms. Asthma, allergies, eczema, poor sleep patterns, mood swings, the list goes on, and seen countless doctors in an attempt to label her mystery rashes and fevers to no avail. My daughter has been on a raw diet and herbal protocol recommended by Ailin for a mere 45 days, and we've seen more progress in the last 6 weeks than we could ever have dreamed of. I'm overwhelmed with her progress, grateful for Ailin and her compassion, and excited to see how her knowledge will continue to impact our family. And oh my God, it did, because everything, literally everything that this little girl was suffering from was cleared like that. Just all it took was like 4 months, you know? And it's just amazing. I'm so proud of her. Now, I'm going to put photos of her progress right here. You should see the photos right now of what it looks like before and after. And it's so funny because, you know, if she would have known, if her mom would have known to take photos of when this little girl's skin looked at its worst, you know, she was telling me how she was like kicking herself in the butt that she didn't take them. But she didn't want to take photos, or she didn't even think of taking photos when it was like at its worst, because the little girl was suffering so much, her daughter was suffering so much, that she didn't think to pull out the camera. But she took a photo of what her skin looked like right in the beginning of the detox. I think it was like maybe a week into her detox, starting the raw diet, doing juices. So her skin had cleared up a little bit, but you can see the drastic difference between what it looked like before in the beginning of detox and what it looks like now. It's completely clear, completely healed. And it's just so amazing. Like, detox is the answer. That's like 100% certain in my heart and in my clients' hearts. They see it all the time, they feel it, they experience it. And once you experience all these elimination of waste, like your eyes are open, you can't go back. Like, once you see all that mucus, all that mucoid plaque, all these things come out of your body, and your symptoms getting better and better, the more you filter from your kidneys, like, the truth is undeniable. So it's just so amazing. Now let me see if there's anything else that I didn't discuss in this video. By the way, guys, I actually have a few articles on my website on how to detox children. I'll link that in the description box below, as well as how to heal eczema issues, eczema, skin issues, psoriasis. I made an article on that. You guys can check it out. And I've also discussed how to detox children in a few Q&A videos. You know, maybe like a few months ago. You can go back on my channel and you can see like how to detox children as one of the Q&A videos. So yeah, so I mean, I just again want to express how proud I am of you. You know who you are, your entire family. I'm really proud of you. You guys are doing amazing, and I'm just so happy that you created like this supportive environment for this little girl to heal. It makes me want to cry, you know. It makes me want to cry because when I see children suffering, it just breaks my heart. I always want to be there to help them, you know, to show them the right path. And I see so often like parents that are ignorant on what they feed their children, and it's like you tell them the truth, but they don't want to hear it, you know. So I feel so happy when I actually am able to reach out to someone whose child is suffering, and you know, and they get it, and it clicks, and it makes sense to them, and then, you know, they follow everything through and through, and they treat their child with respect, you know. Children are just mini adults. They have so much awareness, you know. They soak up their entire environment, and they look to you, the parents, as their role models. So it's like, oh, this was just perfect healing, perfect case through and through. Amazing work. And I just really felt compelled to share this story, this healing story with you guys today. And even though I just got done with like 4 hours of consultations just now, like 2 hours and then 2 hours back to back, I'm really tired, but I had to fit this healing story in there somewhere on the channel. Now, if you guys like videos like this, like me sharing, you know, client cases completely healing, their progress in the form of a testimonial, and like what it is that we did that helped them heal, then give this video a like. I'll make more videos like this, and share this video with anyone that needs to hear this information so that they can start their own healing journey. And if any of you guys would like to work with me one-on-one, if you have any skin issues or any other issues, you know, detox is the answer. You can go to my website, www.spiritropicalhealing.com, where you will find the Master Your Health package under the services tab, and that's the package that I recommend everyone to jump on, because it really covers every single weakness that I can see in your iris, as well as in your health symptoms and health history, and then I put all those puzzle pieces together to create the perfect healing protocol for you. Because oftentimes when we try to do it on our own for too long, we'll quickly realize that we need help. You know, I've spent years and years and years studying this detox information and, you know, putting it into practice with my clients and completely seeing them heal, you know. So with you and me together as a team, we'll be able to heal anything and everything you have. So yeah, guys, all the information will be down in the description box below. Now, I love you so much. You know that I do. And I hope all of you are healing fantastically on your detox journeys. And I know you can keep on going. And just know, if this little girl can do it, you guys can too. All of you can. You know, that strength of spirit is in there inside of you. And sometimes we have to become childlike again, like children, you know, and be in the present moment. Take things for what they are, but not for worse than they are, just as they are. And take it day by day, and take it step by step. And you'll be surprised at how much you can accomplish in your healing. Okay, I love you all so much. Take care. Bye.